Let's go!
From Nintendo and Illumination.
The Super Mario Brothers can take care of the kingdom.
Comes a super-powered adventure. On April 1st.
Pack our things.
The galaxy gets even bigger.
He knows that's my bike, right?
Yes.
The Super Mario Galaxy movie. Rated PG. Only theaters April 1st. Get tickets now.
Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
It's Deprogram, the podcast where we try to get you into a band. That's right. We've done all the work for you. All you have to do is press play and listen. And you could say that I am band curious. And in that, I like to talk to my friends about bands that they love and find out why they love those bands and do the work with them and try to come up with a top 10 starter kit list for you. Today you could say we're institutionalized. You could say that we've joined the army. You could say that we're going to do it subliminally. Any way you want to say it. Today we're talking about suicidal tendencies. And it's hilarious, Cory, that honestly, I can't believe it took this long to get here, and that, you know, forgive me for saying so, but you're the one who put them on the board.
You're good, dude. That's accurate. It is funny that nobody's gotten here yet, that the pod hasn't arrived here, especially as long as you've been doing this. I'm typically, I mean, the Doors, hair metal is typically my thing, but as as I'm approaching 40, it's a great time, I guess, to suddenly start delving into punk rock. And so that's how I had heard of Tendencies years ago. I remember a buddy of mine, my buddy Ballard, had mentioned them, and I was like, wow, that's an interesting name for a band. I was 16. I didn't know any better. I was an idiot, as everybody is at that age.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of stayed in the back of my mind for years. And I was, aware that they existed. And couple years ago, I met my buddy Matt, and he played in a punk rock band and, hardcore punk. And he would play at work all of these bands. And I would sit there and I would listen to it. And I'd be like, well, who's this? Who's that? And that's how Tendencies really came across my radar. And I would be sitting there through Apple Music, and I would add some of the stuff that he would play into my library. And as I'm listening to music around the house, it would come on, and I would take a band that I like this song, and then natural curiosity takes over and you delve deeper into them. And I was telling you the other day, Justin, if I had discovered them years ago, they probably would be in like my 5 favorite bands of all time. They still might be, even though I'm a late bloomer as an ST fan. I love these dudes. This was a blast of a listen, as they all are, but it's funny because I think people that, just kind of look at the outside, you think maybe Metallica, Pantera, stuff like that. These dudes rock every bit as hard as them, if not harder. I absolutely think harder. And I would find myself going to Tendencies over any of those bands personally, going forward.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, it's funny you brought up like the hair metal, and I was curious. I never bothered to look at the timeline of this. Self-Titled came out in '83, so it's like parallel to your hair metal. So it really could have been on your radar. It's funny that it just now got there.
It is, man. I mean, I always thought kind of they were a I guess when they were hitting their stride is when I had assumed that they began to exist. And those are obviously all things we'll talk about. But as I kind of discover, oh wow, they've been around for freaking years.
Hmm.
Holy shit! Uh, like you said, self-titled in '83, and then the evolution kind of began from there, which we'll get into. And it was enthralling to kind of hear how they progressed from this hardcore punk rock band to what they became.
So I feel like probably somewhere around the last time Cory was on, he gives me a list of stuff, and Tendencies is one of them. And I guess, Christian, at some point you're combing through the list and you hopped on almost immediately. So talk to me about Suicidal Tendencies.
Yeah, I think as well, I was quite surprised they hadn't been done already, because they seem like one of the big bands that I would have expected to have been done already. So I was really excited to actually see that it was an opportunity to come on and talk about them. A lot of the episodes, in fact, all of the episodes I've done to date have been sort of indie, maybe sort of some 90s kind of, not too heavy. And this was a really good opportunity to get back into my metal days, which is where I was before I got into those kind of 90s kind of grunge bands and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was really excited. I've normally got a interesting origin story for a band. I don't this time.
Oh.
A friend said, check out this band. So really, really boring origin story this time from me. But yeah, I was, a friend of mine said, look, check out this band. We were sort of into all the bands that Cory's mentioned, Metallica, etc. And I went out and I bought as you do when you're a poor student, I bought the cheapest album that was available, which was How Will I Laugh Tomorrow? And I absolutely loved it. Then I saw the video for Institutionalized, which is obviously a lot earlier than that. And I was like, whoa, they've got, different sides. But it was, they would, one of the words I want to describe them as is kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
And that was really sort of, like, for me, kid from Wales, it's so far removed from what my life was all about. Having said that, there was a connection, because where I grew up, it was quite sort of a surfy, skatey area anyway. So there was that connection with that whole kind of beach life and skating. But in terms of the whole Californian thing and, the whole, the are they, aren't they involved in the whole gang culture thing, it just felt really exciting and fresh and dangerous. And the other metal bands, your Metallicas, your Megadeths, a lot of their imagery, and Iron Maiden I liked at the time, a lot of their imagery was sort of dark and occult and all of that kind of stuff. And the cover of How Will I Laugh, where they're all in this blazing Californian sunshine in this kind of, they're not dressed like other metal bands in your dark leathers. They're all in like your skate clothes and your bandanas. And it was completely fresh. I wasn't into them for very long, because they caught me just as I was kind of transitioning into that other kind of genre that I mentioned earlier on. I was just kind of moving away from metal. But the fact that I get to talk about them now is brilliant. The last few weeks, listening back, has been an absolute blast. Just to go back in time, back to get my metaphorical long hair back on and have a good old mosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
It's funny because, like, again, as I'm wont to do, I kind of view things through American eyes, as Rage Against the Machine once said. I don't really think about, because I just made the parallel to, like, the time frame being at the same time as hair metal, which is very LA, but Suicidal Tendencies puts forward a different look at LA, and clearly globally, like, suddenly you're looking at something else that's LA, as opposed to that polished what's coming out of the hair metal thing. So yeah, I have like 2 to 3 different entry points of Tendencies in my life, because first and foremost, Beavis and Butthead. There was several Beavis videos on Beavis and Butthead that just implanted in my brain when I was very impressionable, 12, 13 years old, and just went, oh, that's cool. Like, you know, never enough to go, oh, I'm going to go buy records, but like enough that, you know, it, like I said, it implanted. I knew who they were. I could put, you know, I could put a name to the band, put a name to the face. And like, I'll give more specific stories as we come up on the songs portion, but like, and then institutionalized, obviously got a lot of radio play here on, Cory will know this, on 96X used to play that song a lot. So, you know, there's entry level 2, and then the band gets put back on my radar with, funnily enough, GTA 5. And I'm actually doing another band in a couple days that GTA 5 put, you know, in my face. But like, it's funny how parallel this band has been to my life, and every song I've ever heard, I've always been into, and why I never made the dive, who knows? You know, like, this show has been great for that for me. Like, hey, you know, we did Pink Floyd last night. Like, hey, finally opening the door to this band that's been like around quite literally my whole life, and now it's finally time to get into them. We've made a couple mentions here, like, of how fun of a listen, how easy of a listen this was, Cory. We did have to chop it down to, I think we ended up like the first 6 records or something, 5-6 records.
First 5, yeah.
Yeah. When you're looking at that, and, you know, it kind of encompasses, you know, what, the 80s, maybe right into the 90s. What does it look like as you're trying to put your 20 together? Because you know, I know there's like a move in there, but like, you took your time with this one. You really were pretty meticulous with your list.
I did. And a lot of that is, you know, we were in the middle of a move, and we're all adults. So we know how much moving sucks is the worst.
Yeah.
Had it not been for that, we could have probably got to this 2 weeks earlier. But this was, in terms of actually dissecting and getting to my 20, I realized as I was doing it, and I don't know if I mentioned it to you, you know, through the weeks as we're, you know, in person, this was the hardest time I had making cuts since the Doors.
Wow.
And that was like cutting limbs off your children, you know, when we did the Doors episode. But it was very, very arduous, man. It was just hard to kind of, you know, because you want to check the boxes, you want to play the game, but it's also, I found myself, okay, do I want to lean more and make my cuts towards playing the game more, but holy shit, this song rocks. How can I cut this off? I love it. And, you know, I always make lists of my final cuts, what I bring to the final round and what I end up neutering. And I was scrolling through, you know, my notes section looking as you guys were talking, and I'm seeing some that were just like, oh man, you know, I had forgotten, you know, the specific ones that I had cut until just looking at it. This one was hard, man. It really was.
It's interesting to hear that. Like, it's such a swift and easy listen, right, Christian? Like, as you said, you had a lot of fun listening, but that doesn't always translate to making a fun list make, right?
Yeah, it was challenging. There were a couple of things that I sort of took into consideration, Jared. We always talk about whether album representation is important, and I think this is one band where it is, because there is I mean, you know, people who know the band will know that there's as you said the word earlier on, Cory, an evolution of sound, you know, going from 83 up to where did we stop? Our Rebellion, was that 90s?
Yeah, 92, I think.
Yeah, their sound massively evolves, and I thought it was really important to get some milestones along the way, just so you could actually see where that evolution takes place and how it moves along. So this is one of the, you know, out the bands I've done so far, that this is probably the biggest one where album representation was important for me. The other one is, this is a phrase that you use quite often, Justin, is it does the thing.
Yeah.
There are motifs within Suicidal Tendencies that I felt it was important to highlight in my 20, where, oh, that's a real ST motif. We have to have that in because of, and it may just be a little snippet. Do you know what I mean? It may just be 8 bars, but it's like, no, that sums them up right there, and therefore that has to be a contender for the list.
That's funny you mentioned that, Christian, because one of the songs that we'll discuss it ended up leapfrogging into my final 20, based off of exactly that, what you're saying.
So I think I may have like not purposefully done that. I don't know. We'll see how I don't have it written out via records and whatnot. I do agree that representation will be important as far as we should have a song from everything, especially it's only 5 records. We should be able to make that happen. It's such a breeze of a listen. I think I accidentally listened all the way through over the course of like an afternoon. And that's not usually the case with me. And usually it takes me like 2-3 afternoons. I only have like a little bit of time when I'm waiting to pick up the kids. But something happened where I had an afternoon where I had a couple hours I could just sit and listen, and I just kind of breezed through it. And I was done with my first pass, and I was like, oh, and I don't think I had a ton through on my first pass. But like I could have. I'm also a person who doesn't want to make more work for myself, so I didn't want to go back and overdo it. Like I think it may have come down to 27, which I thought was kind of low, and considering how much I enjoyed. But I was like, well, what am I going to do? Go add more and then make this next round of cuts harder? No, that doesn't make any sense. We'll just go with this. And I feel like I got a little everything. And there's songs that I knew that, again, I people who have listened to the Pink Floyd episode will know that with a band like this that I've kind of either overlooked or has been in my head somewhere, I just never kind of opened the door to it. Like there's songs that I love even more now that, some time has passed and the door is officially open. So this sounds like it could be interesting. It's 58 songs, so it's not like we can hide too much, Cory, but it does feel like there is the possibility of overthinking, overplaying. It does feel like there is a possibility that this is a garbage fire when it comes to like, how do we get to our list, right? Like, but how much do you think we get through unanimously for the final say?
I've been toying with that all afternoon. I'm gonna go with it. It might be ambitious, but I'm gonna go 4.
Okay. All right. 4. I like that. What do you think, Christian?
I don't know. I feel quite confident about this one. I think there are 3 songs that I would be flabbergasted if they didn't make it. So that's 3 already. I think there are standouts. I think there are other ones that I think will get through. So I'm going to go 6. Okay. I've left the door open for you.
I mean, do I take the easy way out and just split the difference? I mean,
left that door open.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
Like,
we did.
I might as well take that. Because I can think of like 1 or 2 songs that if they don't get in, I could pick as my pick to be the 10th song. So I might as well play. Yeah,
You don't want to win normally.
I normally don't.
You want to win this time?
Do I want to? No, but usually it's because I don't have a song in mind. There's a couple songs here where I if they don't make it, I'd be like, okay, well, I can pick this song. So I'll go with 5 in case I do win, I've got something in mind. So, all right, 4, 5, 6, we're right there in the middle. That feels about right though. Like it's 58 songs, but they're all kind of in play. So we'll see.
Right.
We're going to take a quick pause, and when we come back, on the other side of it, we're going to play the game. It's Deprogrammed. And with that, the name of the game is Deprogrammed. The 3 of us have combed through the first 5 Suicidal Tendencies records and plucked out 20 songs that we are now going to mash together in an attempt to create a top 10 starter kit for you in case you haven't given them the time of day. And I'll understand if one of you doesn't have this, but one of you should. And we're not here without this song. I don't care what anybody says. Like, even if it wasn't on your radar at the time it came out, it's probably their biggest hit. But it also fucking rules, and it's very much what they do. And it was so good that Fred Durst had to use part of it for one of his songs in Limp Bizkit, 16 years later. I'm going to start with Institutionalized.
All I wanted was a Pepsi. I got it.
Yep.
Yeah, if it wasn't, I would be ending my participation in this podcast right now.
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, it does feel like that, right? Like I would have understood if one of you didn't, but like this, there's no way that's a bin song for this band, and rightfully so. It should be in, and thank God it is. We don't have to spend any more time on that. But like,
I've never heard anything. I've never heard anything like it before.
Yeah.
It's completely unique.
Well,
in terms of what I heard, but there may be other things out there. But I've listened to a lot of music, and it still holds up to this day as being unique and fresh for me. I
also the video with when Beavis and Butthead are watching it, and Beavis kind of like starts agreeing with Mike. He's like, "They're always like Beavis, Beavis," and it's just It has both the uniqueness you're looking for. It also has a nostalgia you can tie to, and it also there's a timeliness to it. Like it's very unique in that way, and man, it just rules. So I'm so happy I didn't have to like yell at one of you for not having it. All right, Institutionalized is in. Cory, where do you want to go?
Hang out with you also on this round for self-titled, and this one as well. You probably know where I'm going, maybe obvious, but I same thing, felt like one of you guys definitely would have it, if not two. So let's just try and see. Subliminal.
Yes, sir.
Yep, have it.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if this was a homer, because this one got introduced to me via GTA 5. Like, I'm sure that I had probably heard it prior to that, but I know it from GTA 5. So it's on one of the radio stations, and like so many times I can recall like driving their stupid FedEx vans delivering drugs to people's doors in a video game, folks. Not for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to clarify.
And this song kind of being on, as you're climbing up a mountain going 40 miles an hour in a stupid UPS truck. It's just one
going
of those
to pick up a hooker.
Yeah, all those cool things. And I mean, funnily enough, my band, we wrote a song. So we wrote a song when we were a band prior, and one of the riffs, we took it and brought it to the new band, and it accidentally is the same as the opening riff to Subliminal. So we accidentally ganked the riff from Subliminal. So that was just a fun note.
It does lots of the thing.
Yes.
Yeah, Subliminal. It has that menacing quality.
Mm-hmm.
It does something that people often talk about Pixies and grunge being loud quiet dynamic.
Yeah.
ST have like a slow fast dynamic.
Yes.
Which is definitely a motif. And and that transition into the sort of the skate punk, it ticks a lot of the boxes.
Yeah, man.
It does. Well, and this is one of those ones for me where it's like the game almost gets inside your head, because at least in bands I've done in the past, it's like, well, do you really want to bring all of the ones that get the FM radio circulation to the conversation? Everybody already kind of knows those. So you always kind of, at least for me, I've always kind of tried to decipher which ones do I want to bring forth versus which ones do I want to leave behind. So I kind of had that game with Institutionalized versus Subliminal. And then I'm sitting there going, fuck that, dude. You can't not have them both.
It's true. It's true, and clearly all three of us agreed, which is great. I was sure that one of them was gonna not be on one of ours, so I'm glad that we got them both. That makes me
Yeah, that
happy.
6 is looking good, brother.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, Christian, where do you want to go?
Left lots of doors open. I will tell you what, I mentioned that the album that got me into them was number 3, How Will I Laugh? Or certainly number 3 in this list anyway. How Will I Laugh Tomorrow When I Can't Even Smile Today? And I will pick the title track.
Got it.
Okay, good. I don't. But yeah, I know. I think that kind of comes with not knowing the band fully before doing this. But
Yeah, well, I mean, Subliminal wasn't in my 3 definites, and this one was, so I guess that's evened it out a little bit. But
Wow. Okay.
it's no, I love it, and it's got one of the best breakdowns. Well, one of my favorite breakdowns, let's say, in music. The whole bit with the it just goes, think something's funny, laugh at this,
Mhm.
and then the riff,
Yeah.
that bit just makes me go nuts.
oh, sorry to let
But
you guys down on that one.
yeah, obviously it doesn't make Justin go nuts, but
Yeah. Damn it, Justin.
I'm oftentimes that guy, unfortunately. Well, I'll stay,
but it's usually me, to be fair. So
I'll stay on that record with you, and I'll stay here, and I'm going with this one because I didn't get a ton of answers when I asked Threads, about suicidal tendencies. We got, of course, a couple people answering with institutionalized, and this is one of the other answers I got, which is why, at least in part, why I kept it on my list. So, how about Trip at the Brain?
Absolutely, dude.
yeah, definitely, it's really important.
Hey, all right. That gets us going again. And that also just means, like, if it... Oh, I just noticed. Surprise, surprise. Track 1.
Yeah,
Yep.
that opening, it just says, yeah, we're a metal band now.
Yeah.
And what a great video, too.
Oh, okay. So it was a single. That makes sense. That must have been, at least in part, why somebody answered that. I just thought it ripped. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, this is a neat little progress to their sound.
Yeah, they were, number 1 is a punk album. Number 2, I don't know, Join the Army. I don't know that album very well, but what I've read is they say that became a bit more metal. I don't hear it as much. It's Join the Army is a bit more kind of messy, but for me, that opening of track 1 of How Will I Laugh is just like, yeah, they are firmly a thrash metal band, and it's confident. The production's clean. It's as I say, it's a real milestone for me, that in terms of the evolution of the band.
All right. So we got it. It's in. Brings us up to a 3. Still very early in the game, so like it could easily fall off at any moment, or we could go on a hot streak. Who knows? We'll see. Cory.
All right, so I'll venture to my favorite album of theirs, since you guys, or Christian, you did for yours. I'll go to Lights, Camera, Revolution, and I'll stick with that track 1 theme as well, with You Can't Bring Me Down.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Hey. All right. Let me get that queued up. That is one I didn't see going all the way through. That one I felt like was probably a 2, but hey.
Wow.
Yeah,
No,
me too.
Really? No, that is an absolute standout for me. It is one of the songs that I listen to before I play sport.
Oh.
Yeah.
It just massively pumps me up. The video is amazing. There's the bit where it kind of gets a bit melodic when he's in the video, and I can just picture him. He's sort of doing that dance where he's sort of side to side, and he's kind of going through a prison corridor, and there's people like grabbing out the cells, and he's in sort of shackles, and he's just sort of striding through, and the bit is like, can't bring me down, no. Everything about that song, it absolutely smashes.
Well, would you look at that, Cory? We're right at your 4 this early in the game.
Dude, right? I know I should have been. I thought that might have been ambitious. I should have been even more ambitious, I
Yeah.
guess.
It's interesting though. Like,
All good.
yeah, you know, you never know. I mean, you have to start playing the game to find out, right? So,
Yep.
all right, Christian.
Okay, I'll stay on that album. I'm gonna pick a song that kind of evidences kind of something about Mike Muir. I think he's an absolutely fascinating character. There's two sides to Mike Muir. There's the bravado of like he's a big guy, like you would mess with him, the muscles, the kind of the low slung bandana, especially later on when he's sort of properly bulked up and he's got the long hair and the bandana and he's big and yet there's a vulnerability to him as well in terms of as they get into the later albums, he's got this kind of falsetto that he uses. I read someone said it's his Ray Davis voice from the Kinks. And I was like, whatever. And the whole self-deprecation that goes right through the whole thing about the whole idea of this suicidal tendencies, about him having low self-worth and he's no good and all this kind of stuff. So it's a real sort of dichotomy with Mike Muir. He's and I find that really fascinating. But yeah, I'm going to go for get to the point. I'm going to go for Alone.
Oh, after all that,
That was one of my final cuts, dude. I do not have it.
I can't save you either. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. It's just, as I say, I wanted to get that on it because it's just that the way that it begins. It's that high kind of, I look at the sky, it's easier than cry. It's that, it's his high voice, not his shouty voice,
Mm.
Yeah, he's being vulnerable. He's being vulnerable.
Yeah.
All right,
Never mind.
We've kind of gone all over the place. So, like, we haven't cracked in to join the army. I know what you said, Christian, but I did find stuff from Join the Army. So, might as well see if we can find something from that. How about You Got, I Want?
I don't.
No, not for me.
Okay, all right. Into the bin. We had to dive into it at some point. So, all right, Cory?
I will. I'm just going to follow you guys, kind of. I guess that's the trend. So I'll stick on Join the Army with Human Guinea Pig.
Oh, no. Unfortunately.
No, me neither.
No dice.
Yeah, might be time to bail on Join the Army for now. We'll come back to that later. Christian.
I do have some, believe it or not, I do have some stuff from Join the Army. But yeah, all right, let's come back to that later. All right, let's go where we haven't gone yet then. This Art of Rebellion was another album that kind of, for me, didn't have as strong an identity as maybe self-titled Howl I Laugh and Lights Camera, but I managed to get something from every album. I'll go with something that was literally my 20th pick. It's got heavy guitar, it's got funky bass, because by then you've got Trujillo in the mix. It's got the Mikey Muir falsetto. Which Way to Free?
Oh, no.
I got it.
Hey, I will take that too. For the record, Art of Rebellion was easily my least favorite that we covered.
Absolutely.
Not that, again, I hate saying things like that because it comes off as me saying like it's bad. It isn't bad. It's just, you said it perfectly, Christian, so I don't know why I'm repeating it, but I think maybe because hearing it from a second person on the panel might kind of put it out there to the world that these other ones are very clearly suicidal tendencies. And not that one isn't, it's just a lesser than. So, like, if you want suicidal tendencies, go for the earlier stuff, and then you can get to that later. And it's a perfectly acceptable, it's a perfectly fine suicidal tendencies record. But if you want like to get into them, go earlier. Like we'll find something from that for sure. But yeah, since you're there, I do have a couple from that, so I might as well try one of mine too. Sometimes the attitude is in the song title too. So I'm going to go with one that has the attitude in the song title. How about We Call This Mother Revenge?
My final cuts. I did not take it through.
Yeah, didn't have it. It's in my, it's in the top half of that album, but no, I didn't make it.
All right. Into the bin. All right. We'll find each other again. Cory.
I only brought two from the Art of Rebellion into the conversation, so I'll just throw my other one out and see if either one of you guys have it. I've got Nobody Hears.
Nope.
Same. One of the better ones, but not up there for me.
Yep.
All right, so that one's going to be hard to find something from, but we'll figure out something maybe. All right, Christian.
Okay. Which way do I go? Right, I haven't taken anything from self-titled yet, so I'm going to go with something that does one of the things. Menacing, slow, dissonant. The opening riff, Suicidal Failure.
Oh, no.
Don't.
No. Dang it.
I mean, as a song, I kind of get that. But that riff, that for me, that is that first album, in a nutshell. It's similar to the Subliminal, has that kind of dissonant kind of feel to it, which creates that menace and that sense of danger. And it does that for me, but that's cool. That's cool.
I think the problem here is, and I didn't look at my album breakdown until now. I've got 6 from that record. So 1, 2, 1. Yeah. So I think that probably just kind of got lost to, I've got too much. Something's got to go.
Yeah. And I think
Right.
there are better songs on the album. And I think I went a different direction in terms of picking songs where that perhaps the overall song wasn't as good, but it had like I said, it told the story. It had a motif. So, and that's a perfect example of that.
All right. So I might as well continue with Follow the Leader. You went back to self-titled. I'll go with self-titled. This is the only other answer I got when I asked the internet, which the internet knows everything. So one of you may have this. How about I Want More?
I've got it.
Yeah.
Hey,
I have that.
Hey.
All right. Oh, God. And now the weight just got put.
That's number 5.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, Mike Muir looking to the sky again.
I will say this. There's one that I haven't played yet that if it doesn't get in, I know I'm taking. So we'll see like where you guys fall in that song. But just like that at 5. Wow. I didn't see that one. I mean, I guess I must have somewhat because somebody said it, but it is interesting the ones that have kind of gone in. So, all right, I Only Want More is in, brings us to 5. And just for the record, we've got the 5 unanimous and 2 twos. So we still got our work cut out for us, but we still have like well over half our lists, I think. So, where you want to go, Cory?
So I'm going to go here just because I want to see if this is the other song you're talking about that you will fight for, because this is one of the ones, the chalky ones that Christian said he had a few. This is one of the ones for me. So I just want to see if this was it. How Will I Laugh Tomorrow? Pledge Your Allegiance.
Oh, I got it. That wasn't it, but I got it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it. ST.
Yes. Boom. Yes. Firmly away from my 5, on to Christian's 6. The weight is off me. We can do whatever we want from here.
I no longer care.
Yeah. The weight is not mine. Although that does put my one song in jeopardy. So we'll see. We'll see what happens when we get there. We scroll this up and get it queued up before we move on. I guess I didn't realize that this one was chalky. Is this like a single or something? Or just kind of...
So I believe it was. For me, I know it's one of the top played songs on Apple Music. I think it was probably a single. I think it's just kind of that, at the beginning, the ST, it
Yeah,
feels
definitely.
very anthemy. It feels like one of the
Yeah,
ones, like if I were to put someone onto the band, that would be one of the Rushmore ones where I would go, yo, you got to hear this one.
Yeah.
yeah, that ST is iconic. It's like a sports chant.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Christian, I mean, we're right at your 6. I don't know if I think you've won before. So,
Yeah.
I wish could keep better track of that, but I mean, I guess I do record it and could go back and all right.
I won the Cranberries.
That's right.
I won the Cranberries, and
I
I did a last minute pivot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll stay on How Will I Laugh then, and this is actually one of my favorite songs. I'm not sure whether other people think it's a strong song, but again, it has a bit that I absolutely love. The Miracle.
Oh no,
I do not. I don't. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, you know the bit, right? Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun,
yeah.
dun, 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 dun,
Uh-huh.
dun.
Yep.
That's cool. That's cool.
That
Again,
was a hard one to leave off.
I'm going for riffs and bits rather than, whole songs some of the time. So if they swing and miss, there's a reason.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's funny. We've got a lot of bin stuff, but we also have the 6 unanimous and 2 twos. So it's like this feels like I think it's playing out ultimately is what I'm trying to say. Ultimately is kind of how I thought it was. Even though there's only 58 songs in play here, it's deep. And none of these ones that have gone in the bin, nobody's gone, no, and I never would have.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're back around to me. Let me try. This is my last How I Laugh track. How about If I Don't Wake Up?
Ironically, that is also my last one from How Will I Laugh. I've got it.
Hey.
And I don't win because I have it too.
Wow.
Hey.
All right. So we're going to continue playing just like that up to 7. I don't know, man. Sometimes it's cool when no one wins because that means we've exceeded expectations. That's kind of cool.
That is true. Damn.
I didn't expect this one. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have had this either. That's a shocker or a sleeper.
Yeah, me too. Didn't expect that one.
Oh, I love a sleeper. Let me get it up here to the
top.
top.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, get this up to the top with the rest of the thing. And Cory, where do you want to go?
I'm going to go for one of my favorite songs of theirs. I don't expect this one to make it, but it would be cool if at least one of you guys had it. Off of Lights Camera. Send Me Your Money.
Yes.
No.
Well, at least we got Justin.
Yes. That's the song.
Really?
Yes.
I got it.
That's the song that if I would have won, that was the one that I would have picked. It's there's stories here. There's double stories. First easy story is this is one of the videos that Beavis and Butthead played as well. So again, it implants on me at a young time in my life, 12, 13 years old. And now the next level of that story is because of watching it on Beavis and Butthead. I took it to school one day and welcome to the Church of Suicidal. And I would do that part. And my friend Paul would always go suicidal, and it's fucking stupid. But because the way I would perform it, he would always say suicidal and correct me, and it would piss me off so much. It's dumb, but oh God, I love this dumb song. It makes me happy. And I think about the content of it in the video where it's kind of taking a run at those big mega churches that are asking for your money. So like, I don't know, all that stuff kind of hits me in my sweet spot. So I'm glad that it is in the conversation. And as of right now, since we have the 7 unanimous, we're officially at an NTP. Nobody's going to win. If we do nothing else, all 3 of these songs are in. Unless Christian really, really wants to put his foot down on Send Me Your Money. We'll see about that. But
I don't dislike the song. It's for me, it's a bit Infectious Grooves. It's got the sort of you could there's a big tremolo bass kind of on that, and I massively got into Infectious Grooves around the same time, and I was quite deliberate about this being ST, not Infectious Grooves, and I think that's kind of that one veers towards the middle for me. So that's kind of I didn't go for anything too funky in this, because you never know, we might do Infectious Grooves.
Yeah,
that's true.
Eventually,
that's true.
We have all the bands in the world, so we'll get there
eventually.
Indeed.
Right?
Maybe in like 2042 or something.
All right. Send Me Your Money gets a 2. It gets to hang around for now. And Christian.
Okay. They have a song that fits in a category where I have some songs that I always reference when I talk about songs like this, which is multi-movement songs. So when I hear a multi-movement song, I think of 3 songs: Bohemian Rhapsody, Paranoid Android, and slightly more less well-known, Tuna in the Brine by Silverchair.
Oh yeah.
And they have one on How Will I Laugh. I counted the number of different riffs in the song, and I think I got to 16, which is pretty impressive. It's Suicidal.
I mean, unfortunately, I can't save you. As I mentioned, I'm out.
I don't either. I can't, but that was one of my final cuts.
Yeah, again, just the way that it goes in so many different directions. Again, it's more of a thing than actually I like this as a song. Because in terms of a song, it doesn't go, doesn't do a lot, but just all the riff. If you just want to listen to some kick-ass guitar, it's amazing.
Well, it's very ST as well. That's that signature sound that they've got, that you hear that and you go, okay, I know who that is.
Sure.
We've got nothing from Art of Rebellion into the conversation yet, so I'm going to trot my last chance at getting something from it in. How about Accept My Sacrifice?
It's a no from I don't have it.
It was a last cut.
Oh, yeah.
It was in for so long, and then I literally swapped it out yesterday. That is Get Ready Stomach, Here Come Banana, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
right.
just missed it.
All right. Well, I can't save anybody else's Rebellion picks, unfortunately, but away we go. Cory?
I'll go back to Lights Camera here for one that also I brought in because of what we were discussing in terms of ST and having that vibe about it. I've got Disco's Out, Murder's In.
Yes.
No.
All right. It's a 2, but we've got ourselves a conversation here for what is in and what is out. So,
yeah.
All right. Christian.
Okay, I haven't picked anything from Join the Army yet, and I said that it's not my favourite, so I don't have a lot. But I did think I'm surprised this one's lasted this long, because I think it's the standout track on the album, and it's the title track, Join the Army.
I don't have
Yep.
it. Okay, good.
I got it.
That one came up when I asked the internet. They said that one as well. But I didn't.
Is that a 2?
That's a 2.
Yeah.
A 2, cool.
It gets to hang around, at least for now. And the conversation gets a little deeper. So we'll see. All right, let me give a real count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I feel like we got a couple more rounds in us here. How about I'll trot out my last Lights Camera track. How about Lovely?
Hell yeah.
Hey,
No, not for me.
I'll take that too.
Again, it is that too funky for this band.
I get it.
It's an Infectious Grooves argument again for me.
Fair enough. Lovely gets the 2, and the conversation gets even harder. All right, Cory?
So I'm gonna stick off Lights Camera, and Christian, I don't know if you would put this in the Infectious Grooves category as well. This one though I felt like deserved a mention, not just in terms of, when we go through and dump out. It's kind of controversial, but I gotta play it. Go and break down.
There's nothing like your first Mac. Here's what people online are sharing. @Dr. Rain says, everything is just so smooth and fast, I still can't get over it. Syncing stuff between my phone and this is just chef's kiss. @Mr. Incredible 488 says, Apple Silicon basically cures low battery trauma. That's how they felt with their first Mac. How will you? Introducing the all-new MacBook Neo. An amazing Mac at a surprising price. Find out more on apple.com/Mac.
Baseball is back, and the first pitch is on Netflix. The New York Yankees, led by 7-time All-Star Aaron Judge, head to the San Francisco Bay to take on Rafael Devers' San Francisco Giants. This season kicks off with one exclusive opening night game. Watch MLB Opening Night, the New York Yankees versus the San Francisco Giants, live on Netflix. Wednesday, March 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
I have it.
Hey.
Right.
There's a 2.
Breakdown.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something, Christian?
I was just going to say breakdown.
Oh. I was like, did I cut him off? All right. Oh, God. Now, all these 2s, now it's starting to make my head hurt, like seeing all this conversation. All right. Christian.
Right. Okay. I'm running out, actually. I don't have many left. I'll stay on Lights Camera because I'm looking at my list and we've only got 1 in unanimous. So I'm going to try something else. Lost Again.
Got it.
Wow. I can't make that unanimous. Obviously, I'm out on Lights Camera.
And I should have remembered that, but never mind.
All right, so we're back around to me. By the sounds of it, this probably can be our last full round before we dump out. I'll go back to self-titled here. How about Two-Sided Politics?
Oh, I don't have it.
No, me neither. It's a great song, but I don't
love it though.
Bind. Okay. Cory.
I'll play my last one off of Join the Army. War Inside My Head.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey.
Wow. And the plot thickens. I mean, again, talk about wanting to be... It's always better to way overshoot what any of us think. And it also gets us a Join the Army song in unanimously, so like that can kind of come into play later too.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, all right. Christian.
Okay, I will go back to first album. What a great album cover. But we haven't talked about album covers yet, okay? And album covers,
Oh, yeah.
apart from Join the Army, which is just weird. I mean, that first album when they're all hanging upside down on the fence, that is just absolutely iconic. I've already talked about How Will I Laugh, that kind of, they're all in their kind of skate clothes in the sun, but there's the menacing, Lights Camera with that kind of cinema kind of right in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, iconic, absolutely iconic. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So go back to the first album. Again, this does the thing because it starts off really fast thrash punk, and then it goes into like almost like a swing. Well, I've got a little story to tell. It's the first song on the first album, Suicide's an Alternative / You'll Be Sorry.
Yeah, I got it.
It was one of my final cuts.
It's the intro to the band in terms of full length. It does the thing. It's the fast. It's the kind of the medium tempo. It's the shouty. It's the singing. It's a great introduction to what you're gonna get. Basically, yeah. Really good.
Yeah, and I mean, typically that would have been a song I'd lead with, but when you have the weight of institutionalized on you, you kind of got to start there, and then it was just like, well, there's a lot of Tendency songs that do the thing. It made my list because it does the thing, but it also didn't need to be something I let off with. So, but we'll take that too.
I get that.
Yeah, we got that too, and I guess that leaves us to the dump out, and I only have a couple left here. So, starting at the top on self-titled, Memories of Tomorrow.
Nope.
Okay. Moving on to Join the Army. I can speak. Suicidal Maniac.
No.
Nope.
Okay. The Prisoner.
Nope.
Nope.
All right. And last but not least, I Feel Your Pain.
Nope.
Okay, so we soared past everybody, and we get 8 through unanimously. There's no more on the table that we can get. But Cory, you can make the conversation harder. What do you got left?
I've only got 2 left off of self-titled Possessed.
Nope.
And off of Join the Army, Psycho.
Nope.
Right.
And Psycho. All right. What do you got left, Christian?
Yeah, I only have 2 either, but I'm later. I have Give It Revolution, off Lights Camera Revolution, and just trying to hit on Art Rebellion. I have Tap Into the Power, and that's what I slightly contradict myself because that has a funky Trujillo finger bass. But yeah, that's it.
We covered almost all of Lights Camera. The only 2 that didn't come up in conversation today were Get Whacked and Emotion Number 13, just for the record.
Yeah.
Which is funny because, like, I wouldn't consider that, like, my favorite record of theirs. I didn't feel, like, particularly drawn in the same way that I was to some of the earlier records. But also, it's just interesting that that's the one we pulled the most from, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Easily. Like, very handily, because there's still.
It's. I think, from what I read, that's the one that people consider to be their masterpiece, I guess.
Oh, I mean, maybe I just didn't clock how much I liked it. I'd have to go back and listen, and hopefully, I'm trying to get ahead, so it'd be nice to like make space for to go back to bands like this that I thoroughly enjoyed and be able to listen to them at leisure instead of to make a list. All right, so we did great here, fellas. We got 8 through unanimously. We've got Subliminal, Institutionalized, Trip at the Brain, You Can't Bring Me Down, I Want More, Pledge Your Allegiance, if I could read, If I Don't Wake Up, and War Inside My Head. So let's look at these 2s. This just got more and more brutal as it went on, and as we landed a couple more of those unanimous, it's like, man, like the conversation doesn't get as clean anymore. So we've got the title track, How Will I Laugh Tomorrow, Which Way to Free, which is a 2 from Art of Rebellion. Again, we talk about album representation. So Send Me Your Money, Disco's Out, Murder's In, Join the Army, Lovely, Go and Break Down, Lost Again, and Suicide's an Alternative, You'll Be Sorry. So for track 9, we don't have anything from Rebellion. We've talked at length about feeling the need to have representation. Do we still feel that way?
I mean, so for me personally, once we got to 8, album representation kind of goes out the window because there's not as much to play with. I do still see the argument though. For me, I just think there's so many twos that are like, yeah, that one, that one, that one. That I mean, I think you can go either way, but I would skew more towards kind of going through the songs individually than let's make sure the art of rebellion is represented because like yeah, I think Justin, you were the one that said that was my least favorite as well, and that could probably be universal out of what we chose. And it's not saying the album is cheeks by any stretch, but when every other one is so damn good, it's not that that one's bad, it's just it gets shuffled down the deck.
Yeah. What do you think, Christian?
Yeah, I agree. Like I mentioned, I had a really strong feeling when I was putting my 20 together around album representation, but I completely agree with what Cory said. When we've got 2 to play with, which way to 3? Is that really going to fight out some of the others just because it's on that album? And I think,
right,
it particularly because it's the last album as well. If this was on an album sort of towards the middle or early on, I think okay, there's more of an. But you can kind of say, well, we could have done the first 4 albums and it wouldn't be in the conversation. Do you know what I mean? It still would be a show about suicidal tendencies, and you could have stopped at Lights Camera, and that would be enough to get people into the band. So I don't have an issue with it not being with nothing from Rebellion being on there for those reasons, I guess.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at 6, maybe even 7. Like we have 3 or 4 songs that we can play with. I think it has a stronger chance. But just to kind of echo everybody's point, I don't think I told the Send Me Your Money story. Does Which Way to Free really beat Send Me Your Money when it's got that story? Like, is it really stronger than anything that we've got left from self-titled? Like, yeah, I don't know. It's happy to be here, and I just don't see it beating out some of these songs. So, all right. Let me run them down one more time, and we can kind of start seeing where we go here. How Will I Laugh Tomorrow, Send Me Your Money, Disco's Out, Murder's In, Join the Army, Lovely, Go and Break Down, Lost Again, and Suicide's an Alternative, You're Sorry. Is there one that's kind of really sticking out to you, Cory?
For me, I go Send Me Your Money and Go and Break Down. Those are my 2 that kind of jump out at me. Also, probably second tier, Lovely and How Will I Laugh Tomorrow. But those are the 2 for me. Send Me Your Money and Go and Break Down.
What do you think, Christian?
The only one I feel particularly strongly about, because this is one of the 3 that I thought was a shoe-in, was How Will I Laugh Tomorrow. But again, coming back to representation, the way I feel, if we are now just talking about the first 4, the way I feel that the numbers should go in terms of the story, it should be equal between self-titled, How Will I Laugh, and Lights Camera, and Join the Army less so. So we currently have 3 from the first album, 3 from How Will I Laugh, 1 from Join the Army, and 1 from Lights Camera. And I mentioned earlier on, Lights Camera, I think I understand is their kind of most acclaimed album. So I'm kind of torn between those 2 arguments, really. If I take my second argument, we should have 2 from Lights Camera, because then that gives us 3-3-3-1, which I think is the perfect balance. But in terms of songs, I would be disappointed if How Will I Laugh is not in there. I'm not particularly attached or the other way with regards to any of the other songs. If you guys want to bat for Send Me Your Money, I don't have an issue with that. So it sounds like you have a bit of a a connection with that one too, Justin. So I'm happy for that one to go in, and then we've got one more to decide on.
All right, so let's do
Right.
Yeah, let's grab "Send Me Your Money" then. Seems like we have some concession there, and then let's figure out. This sounds like the discussion is between "How Will I Laugh Tomorrow" versus "Go and Break Down," right?
Yeah, I mean, unless anyone feels strongly about any of the other ones, those are the two. And I had both, so I could go either way. I do think, Christian, you make a hell of a point about album representation amongst the four. The layout of 333 from self-titled "How Will I Laugh" and "Lights Camera" feels, and that's not me trying to push for Go and Break Down over "How Will I Laugh," but that does feel, it feels perfect having the albums represented that way, because I think we all agree of those four, "Join the Army" is probably the weakest.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
Even though I had like 5 songs from it, yes, I agree. It's the weakest. Yeah, it's hard to argue math. When math starts coming into it, we all kind of came to the same conclusion. So, like, why fight that? And I mean, yes, it's easy for me to say because I'm the odd man out on both of these songs. But if we have something that feels right, we should probably go with that. And also, it does seem like would seem like a shame that only 2 from Lights Camera got through when we practically covered the entire record.
Yeah,
That's valid. That's valid. There were only 2 songs that none of us mentioned.
Yeah. So, it sounds like I'm talking myself into Go and Break Down, unless anybody would like to stand up at this point and really put their foot down. Sounds like
I'm with it.
Yeah, sounds like we're in agreement. So let's turn the heat up. Let me run this down, and then we'll turn the heat up and get to the next hard part of the conversation. All right, here's our 10. Subliminal, institutionalized, trip of the brain, you can't bring me down, I want more, pledge your allegiance, if I don't wake up, war inside my head, send me your money, go and break down, are in. I'm not going to lie, man. Send me your money, making it makes me so happy. Like the fact that I didn't have to use a final fade to make that happen really makes me happy. It feels like this is a 1A, 1B. I mean, maybe somebody's got something else up their sleeves. Which one do you think is the one, Cory?
I think it's got to be institutionalized, right? I mean, that's where my brain goes anyway. It's not, if I'm going to turn them on, if I were to pick one song and be like, this is the one that I'm going to play, gun to my head, that probably wouldn't be the first one I would go to. It would be on the Rushmore, but I feel like that's the one, though.
What do you think, Christian?
Oh, there's 2, and it feels like, what do they call it? Like a theatre mask when there's 2 faces.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they call it. Juno mask or something like that. It's institutionalized on one side, and it's "You Can't Bring Me Down" on the other.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And it's the punk, the young upstarts, the disruptors versus the kind of later accomplished musicians, the thrash, the massive anthemic song. Haven't even mentioned Rocky George, who is a phenomenal guitarist. It's those 2, and I think you can make an argument for either. Because it's the 2 sides of the band. It's the first song from this 10. Sorry, it's the first album from this 10 versus the last album from this 10. Yeah. And it tells the story, and it's really difficult to pick. If I was to say to somebody, listen to this one song to know whether you like Suicidal Tendencies, I'd have a real hard time picking which one of those.
I'll say that...
That's all I can say. Yeah. I'm on the fence.
So my 1A, 1B was institutionalized and subliminal. So, I mean, we've all got institutionalized on our list. So, I mean, we could take the easy way out here. But here's another thing I'll add is sometimes you kind of put forward the one song and you kind of worry about, the end of year, is somebody going to poo-poo that because it's the song that everybody knows? Yeah, maybe everybody knows Institutionalized, but also maybe they don't. Like, we're talking about 1983 here.
Right.
It isn't a guarantee that people have heard Institutionalized. So there's that, and also it just rips. Like, it's just good. And
yeah,
sometimes
like I said, didn't I? It's like nothing else.
Yeah,
it's like nothing else.
And I sometimes I like to use the number one as a chance to go, hey man, remember this song? You should listen to it again.
Yeah.
And I feel like Institutionalized possibly may be one of those songs that people have either forgotten or should just revisit, or is the one that really, hey, you've never heard of this band? Hey, check this out. This is cool. They do a lot of different things in it. And plus, hey man, we already mentioned this. Fred Durst got a lyric from it, so some people would call that a plus. I call it a plus. Why not? I feel like it was on all three of our lists. We got to go with Institutionalized. I don't think there's a wrong answer here, but I do think like that's the most right we're gonna be. Is Institutionalized.
As you were talking through that, I was thinking how much I like this past year's best of was the first one that I listened to, and I had an absolute blast. Thoroughly enjoyed listening to it, and I was just thinking, if I listen to next year's and Institutionalized kind of makes it into like the top 10 or whatever, I'll be absolutely pumped. So and I think it's probably got a better chance of standing out as pricking people's ears up than You Can't Bring. Well, my other choice would be You Can't Bring Me Down, which might just be dismissed as kind of just if you've not heard it before, just another thrash song, and it's not. But I definitely think Institutionalized will make people sit up and take notice. So that kind of, you've sold me.
There we go. So let's do it. Let's lock in Institutionalized. I'll get it going underneath us. I'll run down this list one last go, and we'll get on out of here. So Institutionalized is going to be our number one. And Subliminal, Trip at the Brain, You Can't Bring Me Down, I Want More, Pledge Your Allegiance. I don't know what it is about the word allegiance today. I can't say it. If I Don't Wake Up, War Inside My Head, Send Me Your Money, and Go and Break Down rounds out our 10. Beautifully done. And with that, let's let Institutionalized get a moment in the sun.
Maybe you should talk about it. You'll feel a lot better. I go, no, it's okay, I'll figure it out. Just leave me alone. I'll figure it out, I'm just working on myself.
Oh, just so good. There we go. Institutionalized. And we're not going to be institutionalized. I mean, maybe we could. Maybe we are crazy for like trying to make lists of bands that people can yell at us about. But, we did it. And we've turned you on to Suicidal Tendencies. And for that, you're very welcome.
I'm going to go and get a Pepsi.
Just one Pepsi. Just one. Maybe you agree with our list. That would be cool. And you could say so now on Spotify. We can actually have a little conversation. If you want to leave a comment there, I can reply. You can reply. Yeah, that's right. Threads are now available on Spotify. So if that's where you're listening, awesome. If you're going to do that, though, please consider giving a 5-star review. As a matter of fact, please do give a 5-star review. It does help us get seen in the algorithm, which would be super appreciative. Same thing for Apple Podcasts, which I believe a majority of you are still listening on. So if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, 5-star review would be super helpful. Just say, hey, I listened to the Suicidal Tendencies episode. Here's what I would have gone with, or awesome list, or hey, your list is dumb, but I love the episode. However you want to do it. Just if you're going to do it, please give 5 stars. If you'd like to help the next level monetarily, it costs you $1, but patreon.com/oh hi, Justin's a way to get in. I should mention some of you are international listeners, as is Christian. That's how he got here. It's $1 American. I am an American, and that's why I always say $1. But I'm also obviously very much in my own head and very much in, thinking in American. So it's $1 American to get in. I don't know what the conversion rate is for where you're listening from. But it costs $1 American to get in the door. It gets you the after the fact conversation that we're about to have. It gets you deprogrammed before the rest of the world. The ever increasingly or decreasing episodes of Oh Hi Justin. I'm hoping to make space for that. No promises there. Other things will probably be coming to the Patreon, as time passes on. I have ideas, but I'm an idea man, not always an execution man. I'm trying to do better at that. But it also gains...
God, I know how that feels.
Right. It also gains you access to the Discord, the Legion of Stupid Discord. There's certain channels that are only available to patrons of the Oh Hi Justin Pod Patreon. So consider that. And if you don't want that, but you do want to join the Discord, cool. That's cool. We're the Legion of Stupid. You should be able to search us up. If not, ask for a link and I'll get you that link and you can come join in. We grow trees in there. And I literally mean we're growing a digital tree in one of the channels. You can count in there. There's a counting channel. That's fun. There's also the Deprogram channel where you can come in and talk about episodes. But underneath that, there's the Music League, which is a lot of fun. Even though I never win, I'm very bad at it. I try not to be sour about it. Sometimes I'm sour about it. Sorry. And then there's also the Finding Panelists channel underneath that, which is exactly how it sounds. Hey, I want to come on the show. This is a band I'd like to talk about. Does anybody else want to do it? And a lot of episodes come together that way nowadays. So hop in there and tell me what you want to talk about. And that's one way to sign up for the show. The best way, though, you can help me is by telling somebody that you listen. Hey, I listen to Deprogrammed and you should too. And with that, Suicidal Tendencies. God, man, I can't talk today. Learn and love them, people. We'll see you next week. Bye.